WREG in Memphis. This is News Channel 3 at 6.
Many areas of the Mid-South under a severe thunderstorm watch tonight as a strong system moves through that will bring rain, wind, and a big drop in temperatures, plus the possibility of tornadoes. Hello, I'm Greg Hurst.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Skurlock. Some of these storm cells could pack a punch. Our weather expert Jim Jaggers is tracking those storms. And what's going on right now, Jim?
Well, the latest is we've got a new tornado warning, Stephanie and Greg, from the National Weather Service. It's down here for parts of St. Francis County, Lee County, into parts of DeSoto County and Tunica County. So we're going to immediately go to wall-to-wall coverage of this storm system. This particular tornado warning is in effect until 6:15 for this evening and is sitting right on top of another severe thunderstorm warning, this box here of orange. The tornado warning goes until 6:30. That's the red box there for St. Francis, Lee, DeSoto County, and Tunica counties. And that severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 6:15. So that's the 6:15 storm that we're seeing flashing right here. Now, the yellow that you see is a severe thunderstorm watch, which has been trimmed off considerably by the National Weather Service now that we see a lot of the thunderstorm activity has left northeastern Arkansas. They've still got a little bit of rain here in Poinsett County, in Cross County, and northern parts of Crittenden County. But we've got a couple of areas to really be concerned with. Besides this tornado warning, we've got another severe thunderstorm warning that's just been issued up here in Haywood County. Let's see when that expires. This shower and thunderstorm activity coming fast and furious with the severe thunderstorm warnings and the tornado warnings. This one goes until 6:45. So we've got a couple of areas of storminess to really concentrate on and take a look at with the shower and thunderstorm activity that we've got going on. This particular storm has that tornado not too far from Brickey, Arkansas. And as we take a look at the velocity of this particular storm system, you can see that we're not getting a really clear signal as to exactly where the storm is, but we matched it down here in parts of Lee County. So let's zoom into that particular area and take a look at the storm system as we see what's going on with velocity that's going on with the storm. And normally we see some pretty bright red pixels or little boxes here. That's a pixel right there. Right next to us, pretty bright green. I'm not seeing that with this particular velocity track. So we're going to continue to poke out the storm and tell you what's going on. Very heavy rainfall going on activity within the storm. There is a storm track of some rotation earlier a few moments ago in throughout parts of that storm system. As we check the cloud tops, I checked them just a few moments ago. We had cloud tops up to about 40,000 feet in the atmosphere. They've dropped it a little bit now, 39,000 feet in the atmosphere. Not a big deal. Storms tend to grow and shrink through the lifetime of the storm. But let's go back to the precipitation here for just a second and watch the storm system as it continues to develop across our area. We'll go back another couple of frames and show you the storm system. This is the last 3 hours worth of satellite and radar data. Very intensive storm, about 100 miles from Haywood County all the way down to where it gets out of the News Channel 3 viewing area down here in Phillips County. But the most intense part here in southeastern parts of St. Francis County and extreme northeastern parts of Lee County as well. Now let's try velocity here and see how we do with the storm system and finding out where the storm is. We know that we saw a note from the National Weather Service. There we're picking it up, not too far from Council. Bounded weak echo region going on there, but that doesn't impress me as much as what we're seeing here to the south and to the west of Hughes. What we're seeing is winds going towards the radar and winds going away from the radar. So there's the counterclockwise flow. So now that we've got an eyeball on that, let's zoom out a little bit and do a track on the storm. The latest information from the National Weather Service was that the tornado warning was issued and is moving off to the there we go. Moving off to the east at about 45 miles per hour. So let's plug in this data here with the weather computer and show you what's going on as far as the storm with 45-mile-an-hour movement. This particular storm is going to be moving off to the east at about 45 miles per hour, and I'm going to have to zoom out, unfortunately, before we get a more accurate reading on the storm system. But again, we're watching this storm. This particular line of storms has had a history of severe weather and a history of severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. And that puts this particular storm, and let's rearrange our map a little bit so you can get a clear image of what's going on in the atmosphere. But that particular storm is going to be moving across the northern parts of North Mississippi and moving off to the east at a pretty good pace. Puts it in Horseshoe Lake at 616, Norfolk at 622, Walls, Mississippi at 628, South Haven 639, Olive Branch 652, and Collierville at 704. Now that is if the storm is holding together. So far these storms have not shown a tendency to do that. They're not long-lived storms. They last about maybe 20, 30 minutes and then sort of die out or get diffuse and lose energy. But that's where we're seeing the storm right now, near Hughes, Arkansas, moving off to the east at about 45 miles per hour. And that is the position and the path of the storm. Now that doesn't mean that everybody down here in Collierville and Olive Branch are going to be seeing that storm. If it holds together, yeah, you have a chance. You're in the path of the storm. But anybody who's in this severe thunderstorm warning area or the tornado warning area here in St. Francis County, Lee County, Tunica County, and DeSoto County, you do need to be prepared for that storm. Now, we just saw the severe thunderstorm warning area just get a lot bigger in a very short amount of time. The National Weather Service has now issued that severe thunderstorm watch for all of North Mississippi. Let's see how long that goes, until 12 midnight tonight. So the area of the lighter yellow would be until 8 o'clock. The area of North Mississippi, which is the brighter color here, all the way to Corinth, and even parts of West Tennessee as well, is now under a severe thunderstorm watch until 12 midnight because of the anticipation of this line of storms that we see coming on through from about Haywood County all the way down into Phillips County. We're expecting this rather strong line of thunderstorms to hold together as it moves across North Mississippi until about midnight tonight. Now, as we're taking a look at the latest images that we're getting from Storm Tracker 3S and the National Weather Service, I can tell you it looks like this storm system is beginning, at least this line of thunderstorms, is beginning to break apart a little bit. You can see there's breaks in the storm here in parts of Phillips County, or Lee County and Tunica County. You can see a break right here. But if we go back in time, that's the latest image. If we go back to time, it's a pretty solid line, pretty thick line here from Forest City down to Marianna, down into south central parts of Arkansas. And it looks fairly thick here. It gets rather intense. It pulses up in strength. It gets pretty organized here. And this is around 4 o'clock this afternoon. It moves across and it's beginning to break up a little bit. You can see breaks back here a little bit further to the south as well. So as the storm system moves off to the east, it's losing a little bit of its strength, but we still have that tornado warning in effect until 6:15 for portions of the News Channel 3 viewing area just to the south and west of Memphis at the present time. Let's take a look at our maps, look around a little bit. We still have the tornado warning in effect until 6:15, and let's highlight that for you so that you can get all that information to make sure to share with your family and friends. Again, the tornado warning going till 6:30, and then the severe thunderstorm warning that's just below that is until 6:30 now as well. Well, that is interesting. There we go, severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15. We have a separate severe thunderstorm warning up in West Tennessee, and that goes until, and I just erased the data, but I can put it back up here. That goes until about 6:30, I want to say as well, 6:45. So this particular storm, also a very dangerous storm. Let's go back to radar for just a second. Let's zoom in to that area of the storm system that's here in Haywood County. You can see quite intense. We'll go to the latest radar image here, and you can see the confusing arrows here on the surface, those light green arrows, that's surface winds, and getting quite tossed about with the heavy thunderstorm activity that we're seeing there in Haywood County as it moves off to the east at about 30 miles per hour. We're going to erase that and try that again. Here we go. We're going to do a storm track on this particular cluster of storms here in Haywood County as it moves off to the east at about 30 miles per hour. That puts it in Brownsville at 611, Wellwood at 627, Bells 630, Huntersville 645, and Westover at 656. Also in Jackson about 701. So very strong storm going on here. Let's query some of the data. We'll ask the radar to give us a little bit of extra details on this particular storm. Rain amounts of up to 2 3/4 of an inch of rain in the storm in this little yellow dot that I've highlighted right here. We'll examine a couple of these other dark red areas, 1 1/3 inch, and then also a third one here, about 1 3/4 inches, 2 3/4 of an inch of rain per hour. Now that storm is moving off to the east, so you're not going to get quite that much rain, but it is very heavy rainfall right now. Let's go back to the storm that we've got in throughout parts of Mississippi and Arkansas. This is the hail size of the storm. And again, if we ask the computer what the hail size is right here in this dot that I've just put, that's about a 1/2 inch hail size. But we've had higher hail sizes and heavier hail sizes back here in parts of St. Francis County, 1 inch size hail. And there has been some damage reported with this storm further back just outside of our viewing area in the Little Rock area and central Arkansas earlier today. As we take a look at the hail zone for the last 30 minutes, you can see how the hail is continuing here in throughout parts of southern St. Francis County, northern Lee County, and moving off into northwestern Mississippi. We'll take a look at the 30-minute forecast of a strike zone and lightning. It's been quite intense here around the Hughes area, again moving off to the east at about 30 miles per hour. This is the cloud tops again, looking at the cloud tops about 30,000 feet now in that area that I highlighted before. So let's erase that for just a second and see if we can find any higher cloud tops, and indeed we can, particularly in this area of dark purple right here. And those cloud tops there in DeSoto County, about 44,000 feet. So the storm growing up and shrinking as they tend to do. Now's the time, in case you don't have it, is to download the News Channel 3 weather app and make sure you have this information with you as well as we take a look at different types of storms and different aspects of the storm system. But you can see in just the last 3 hours, the storm system has moved into the News Channel 3 viewing area, crossed the Mississippi River, and given us a couple of tornado warnings now this afternoon. Now, this is exactly as we had talked about last night at 5, 6, 10 o'clock in the 4 and 4:30 news as well. The model's doing a very good job of telling us where the heavy rainfall is, what time it will arrive, and how quickly it'll move out. And I can tell you, after doing the forecast this afternoon, that it'll clear out quite quickly. It'll be out of Shelby County by 7 o'clock, 7:30 tonight, and out of the News Channel 3 viewing area by 10 o'clock tonight. So as long as we can withstand the storms right now that are going from Crockett County through Haywood County down into Phillips County, once we get past this line of very heavy thunderstorm activity, we are going to be in the clear for a very nice and cold and clear sunny weekend this weekend, probably the first fall weekend we've had for the month of October so far. But let's go back to the storm and take a close-up look at the storm. We're going to pause this data for just a second. We're going to take off a little bit of data so that we can give you a clearer picture of the storm. And again, take a look at velocity. We're not seeing a lot here, so let me check with the National Weather Service. There has been a report of a funnel cloud near the intersection of Route 334 and US 79 in Lee County. So that's what helped trigger off that tornado warning, was the report from a local storm spotter trained by the National Weather Service for the tornado warning that we find ourselves right now in those areas. So we're going to continue to monitor that storm. And the Haywood County storm has a large hail threat near and south of Brownsville, Tennessee. So we're watching both of those storms very carefully, and not for nothing, but watching the velocity and watching the precipitation as well with the particular storm. This is a relative storm motion of the velocity, and we're again seeing a little bit of activity, particularly down here to the south in throughout now almost southern Crittenden County. So let's zoom into that particular area, and what we're finding is some fairly bright green indicating winds moving towards the radar site, and this red here here, which indicates winds moving away. So that's probably the circulation that we're looking at. So if we use that particular data and zoom back out a little bit, we're going to do a storm track on this particular storm. Again, moving off to the east at about 30 miles per hour, puts it in these cities in just the next few minutes. There we go. It's going to be throughout parts of Tate County and DeSoto County in the next 60 minutes. Hollywood at 6:28, Pritchard 6:33, Trinity 6:42, and Hernando at 6:56. So it's going to be moving off to the east. This whole line will be through Shelby County in probably about an hour to 90 minutes, if not even a little bit sooner than that. So we're going to continue to watch the storm and give you an idea of what's going on as far as the storm system is concerned. Again, this is right along and just slightly behind a cold front that's currently moving through the area. That cold front bringing a great change to our weather pattern in the form of very cold temperatures and very clear skies, but it's got a lot of heat and moisture to push out of the way, and it's doing that right now with these thunderstorms that we're seeing on the area. That's the coalition coefficient, which is an indication of where we might see some tornado damage, but I'm not seeing anything right now. It's a muddled picture, but sometimes we can get a very clear picture of where the tornado has actually picked up some damage. We're not seeing that right now, although the storm does have certainly the possibility of creating more severe weather. Highest tops that we're seeing here now in parts of Tunica County and DeSoto County. We're seeing some pretty good tops up here in parts of Proctor, Arkansas as well, moving towards the Memphis area. Let's go back to radar for just a second and take a look at this storm system. We're seeing some white here, which indicates a very heavy amount of thunderstorm activity. We're hearing lightning and thunder here in News Channel 3 at the present time. This area of white, which is a reversal of some of the color activity, indicating very heavy rain, and it is indeed doing that over almost 12.5 inches of rain per hour in this little spot that we see here in northwestern Tunica County. So again, an indication of some very heavy rainfall. Rotation in the storm we just hear from the National Weather Service now, south of Horseshoe Lake starting to broaden and weaken. Still a small hail and gusty wind threat with the storm, and that's the area that we're seeing right here. It's beginning to weaken in some respects, but also strengthen in other respects. So I wanted to go back up to Proctor, Arkansas. Let's see what the precipitation rate is up here, and that's about nearly 3 inches of rain per hour. But as we go back to reflectivity for just a second and take a look at the storm, it's very intensive here in northern parts of Tunica County. I'm seeing another area that I want to find out a little bit about, and that would be right here, and that is a rain rate of about 10 inches per hour. So copious amounts of rain. Of course, they're not going to get 10 inches of rain because it is moving off to the east at about 30 miles per hour. But if you can imagine a car going down your street, spraying out about 10 inches of rain per hour, you're going to get pretty wet, and indeed they are in that area. So let's take a look at that tornado warning again and the severe thunderstorm warning. Well, that has all been canceled. The National Weather Service just canceled, continues the tornado warning for Crockett and parts of Gibson and Haywood County, Madison County, but apparently has canceled out the tornado warning for Lee, Crittenden, St. Francis, and DeSoto and Tunica. So that particular storm is over with. We still have the severe thunderstorm watch to deal with. We still have that severe thunderstorm warning to deal with. But with those expired now, canceled out by the National Weather Service, the tornado warning in particular, we can return to normal programming, which of course at this point is News Channel 3 at 6 o'clock. So we'll be looking forward to something other than severe weather to tell you about. We've got some other news to tell you about, and Greg and Stephanie are standing by for that right now.